The Chiefs and Bengals Sunday on CBS is going to be pure fire. A sensational showdown. Two amazing, electrifying young stud quarterbacks. I think it's going to be very similar in style to the Bills and the Chiefs. And that's because of the QBs. Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, they have it. They win games. They are both piping hot and incredibly and extremely confident. And look, I don't want what's going on with Kansas City to become mainstream or ordinary. I don't want you to take Mahomes and the Chiefs for granted. This is Mahomes' fourth year as a starting quarterback. And this will be the fourth time he's played on Championship Sunday, all before turning 27 years old. That's an NFL record. This is the stuff of legends, megastars. We are witnessing something out of this world special when number 15 is under center for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's been magical in his career in the postseason, especially at home. But Joe Burrow on the flip side is built for this too. The preseason slogan for the Bengals, it was "Why not us?" But Burrow made his teammates just trash it because Burrow expects it, demands it. He's been MVP caliber all season and postseason. The great Jim Nantz today on my SiriusXM radio show said that Joe Burrow is a babyface killer. And it's hilarious because it's true. Look at him. Watch him. Remember when he torched the Chiefs with Jim Nantz doing the game on CBS all the way back in week 17? Look, that was a game where Jamar Chase lit up the Kansas City defense, and it's going to happen again. And Burrow guided the Bengals to their first road playoff win in franchise history, and he has been brilliant on the road all season long. Cincinnati, oh, by the way, has been perfect against teams that made the playoffs this year. Every team that they played that eventually made the playoffs, they knocked off this year. What a stat. What a nugget. There's no way this moment is too big for the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, this is not the little engine that could. Respect Mahomes and the Chiefs and favor them. I expect them to win. But this is gonna be a show because the Bengals are truly great with an outstanding young assassin at quarterback. If this feels like only everything for Sean McVay, it's because, well, it is. Sean McVay is a fantastic head coach, but he just can't beat his good friend Kyle Shanahan. Is it in his head? Well, with all due respect to McVay, yeah, it is. Of course, it has to be. Both these cats are excellent coaches, superb offensive minds. They're both winners, but head-to-head over the last 3 years, I mean, it's alarming. It's damning if you're Sean McVay. And think back to week 18, the Rams and McVay up 17 points at halftime, and they blew it. If the Rams won, San Francisco would have never made the playoffs. Think about that. They would have never beat Dallas, would have never stunned the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and wouldn't be playing the Rams on Championship Sunday. So the old expression, better be right, seventh time the charm, or something like that. McVay's Rams are at home. They have Matthew Stafford at quarterback. Stafford has brilliantly silenced his own critics with 2 playoff wins, playing superb football. Stafford's domination and clutch play against the Buccaneers is exactly why the Rams made the trade. And Sunday is why the Rams made the Stafford trade, why they made the Jalen Ramsey trade, why the Rams gave up all those draft picks, and I agreed with those trades, and gave up picks to add stars to win a title. The Rams are the better team. The Rams are at home. The Rams are 4 quarters away from playing in the Super Bowl in LA in their building. I love Sean McVay. He's supposed to win this game. It needs to happen on Sunday. The problem, of course, with Jimmy G is that he's Jimmy G. And look, he's won a lot of games, and there are moments, of course, for the sake of fairness, where he looks like James G, all grown up and ready for prime time, but way too many, oh no, Jimmy moments. Way too many times you say, geez, Jimmy, out loud, including last week. I thought he should legally change his name to Jeez, Jimmy, because you keep watching him say, jeez, Jimmy. The postseason struggles are exactly why Kyle Shanahan won in Stafford, traded up for Trey Lance, and tried to kill them off all offseason. Heck, if the Niners win the Super Bowl, and they won't, there's no chance that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be back next year, even if they win the Super Bowl. Niners have a ton of overall stars and talent. The coaching is excellent. The quarterback is an obstacle. An obstacle. I mean, look at these gross numbers. Oh, by the way, Aaron Donald is going to be after James G. Aaron Donald is one of the 4 best defensive players in the history of the NFL. He's talked this week about that elusive championship ring. Donald and Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey have to be licking their chops. Now, we know Deebo Samuel is special. He's unstoppable. George Kittle's a star. So is Trent Williams. Love Elijah Mitchell. I love his talent. Same with Brandon Ayuk. And I know I picked against the Niners last week. But in that game they won, Jimmy G was terrible. I just cannot see the Niners winning Sunday with a quarterback who makes you cringe. Special Friday edition of Love or Loathe. Ahead of the NFC Championship, Love or Loathe, Odell Beckham Jr. has changed his narrative. Love. And I got to give Beckham credit that, look, I destroyed him with the Giants and the Browns for his nonsense and shenanigans, but Odell has been so tough, so clutch, so team-oriented, not a distraction. He supports Cooper Kupp. He supports Matthew Stafford. It's not about, social media, not about TikTok, not about dancing, not about kicking nets. Listen, it's making Baker Mayfield and the Browns look terrible. We knew this was going to be a good fit for Odell. We wanted to see if it was going to be good for Los Angeles. Odell Beckham Jr. is that close to going to his first Super Bowl. This is a narrative that has changed, and it's all sorts of awesome. With the NFL coaching carousel in full swing, the Raiders have reportedly requested an interview with Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. So love or loathe, the Raiders interviewing McDaniels. I love this. Now, I was highly critical of Josh when he left the Indianapolis Colts at the altar, and it was slippery and it was wrong, and obviously Indy bounced back brilliantly with Frank Reich. Make no mistake, Josh McDaniels can coach. His resume is ridiculously impressive. I think that he is smart enough to have learned from trying to be Bill Belichick when he was with the Broncos, and that flopped and failed miserably. I also think remember, in Denver, he picked Tebow. He had full autonomy in terms of personnel. He would go with Dave Ziegler, who's part of that Patriots brass. So, listen, apparently, according to Mike Silver, he loves Derek Carr, which I think is great. He'd have his quarterback. Josh McDaniels can flat out coach. I think this makes a lot of sense here. Assuming the Raiders can't get Harbaugh, I think it makes a lot of sense to look at McDaniels, and it makes sense for McDaniels to look at the Raiders. More coaching news to stay up on. Love or loathe, the Jaguars hiring anyone other than Byron Leftwich as their head coach. Loathe. And it could be anyone else, and I will hate it. This is so easy. They've given Byron Leftwich a couple of interviews. Hire him. The minute Urban Meyer was fired, even before he was fired, I was campaigning for the former Jaguar quarterback to be the new Jaguar head coach. He is a brilliant offensive mind. The work with Tampa speaks volumes. He's super smart, great personality, understands the landscape in Jacksonville. Look, he doesn't want to work for Trent Baalke, who is a clueless, overmatched clown with a bad attitude. Remember, he had that power struggle with Harbaugh in San Francisco. I don't even understand why Trent Baalke is still there. Vic Fangio? Vic Fangio? Please, just fire Baalke and hire Leftwich, team with Adrian Wilson, and let's go. To the NBA, where Joel Embiid dominated the Lakers last night. Love or loathe, Joel Embiid is the MVP. I love this, and I don't want to hear, well, look at Philly's record. Come on. The Ben Simmons situation is a debacle, and a lot of that is on Daryl Morey, who should have traded Ben Simmons, obviously, after the Atlanta fiasco in the playoffs. But look, Embiid is a rock star. He is a bad man. He's the best player right now. When you look at the NBA, look at how he's carried this team over their last 16 games and what he's done. 34 points per game, 11 rebounds per game. And look, give Jokic credit. Ja Morant is unbelievable. A lot of great players, wide open. Without question, Joel Embiid is the MVP of the NBA. We got a few championship props for you. Love Joe Burrow to go over passing yard total of 288.5. You can couple that with Jamar Chase to fly past his receiving yards total, 85.5. These two are going to have a huge day on Sunday. How about in the NFC Championship? I told you earlier, long night for Jimmy G. Give me the under 232.5 in terms of the passing yards. And how about our guy Odell Beckham Jr. to cruise past his receiving number, just 52.5. Give me the over for Odell Beckham Jr. NBA, we got you covered. Ja Morant, over 28.5 points tonight. He scored 30-plus in 4 straight. One more from the NBA. Cade Cunningham, over 18.5 points tonight against Orlando. In the NHL, my guy Ovechkin to score a goal against the Stars. Let's keep the picks rolling with a championship edition of Take Your Pick. And I want you to just stare at the screen. Look at the overall records from my guy Will Brinson and myself. Both of us more than 20 games over 500 on the season, separated by just one game in the overall standings. Wow. Will Brinson, are you nervous? Are you focused? Are you excited? What's the mentality here? One game separating the two of us.
You know what? I'm not going to try any game theory here, Adam, by trying to figure out who you might go with and then go the opposite. I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing down the stretch here, just making picks, seeing the matrix, and trying to stay hot.
I mean, Will Brinson's on an absolute heater. You know the drill, Will. 2 games on the schedule for Championship Sunday, and let's start with the AFC Championship, of course, on CBS. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, with Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs favored by 7 points. Will Brinson, take a pick.
I think you're going to see a very popular public team in terms of the Kansas City Chiefs laying 7 points. I know it's a lot of points against the Bengals team that beat them just a few weeks ago, but Kansas City playing some of its best football all year. You know, all the too high safety shell stuff that, the league has figured out. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Turns out maybe not so much. They just adjusted the offense. That's what football is about. Offenses do things, defenses adjust, offenses adjust to that. It's not that complex. Nobody is going to snuff out Patrick Mahomes. Having said all that, I am not betting against Joe Burrow in this spot. The Bengals just had this sort of magical run they're on. They're definitely the lesser team overall, but Burrow, with those like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, all these weapons that he's got, if you're giving me 7 with Joe Burrow, now 8-0 in his lifetime, college and pros in must-win games, worst case scenario, that dude is coming through the back door catching the 7. So I will go Bengals here, and I will take them to win anyway.
Wow, Will Brinson going with the upset special outright. And look, I say wow. I'm not going to bat an eye if Cincy wins this game. I'm going to pick Kansas City to win, but I'm going to grab the points with Cincinnati. This game is going to be fun. Let's call it 34-31. I'm going to roll with the Bengals in terms of the points. The Chiefs to win the game outright. Will, if we did a guess the line on Sunday, I would have been off by like 3 or 4 points. I am still floored by this point spread. I love the fact you're picking the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow has it. I mean, we talked about it earlier in the show. We talked about it all week. I mean, Joe Burrow, you have to jog the mental Rolodex all the way back to January 2nd. He's already shredded this defense. Jamar Chase going to have a big game. Joe Mixon going to be more involved. Look, Joe Burrow, all he does is win. He's changed the accountability for this team. At the end of the day, no moment is too big for him. He's already won 2 road playoff. He's already won 2 playoff games, 1 on the road, first one in Bengals history. And this postseason, he's been tough, Will. He hasn't been unbelievable. They settled for too many field goals against the Raiders. We haven't even seen the best that Joe Burrow has to offer. Listen, not easy beating Mahomes in Arrowhead, obviously, especially in the postseason. He has one loss in the postseason. D Ford is on the right side of the line of scrimmage. Well, who knows? He could actually be undefeated. The Chiefs win. I love the Cincinnati Bengals playmaking defense with the points. On to the NFC Championship, where the Rams host the 49ers. LA favored by 3.5 points. Will Brinson, take your pick.
So just like the Chiefs and Bengals game, this line scares me a little bit. I feel like the narrative that Kyle Shanahan owns Sean McVay is out there. Everyone knows about it. And yet you're still able to get 3.5 with the 49ers. It does feel like Vegas is begging everyone to take the Bengals and the 49ers. But you know what, Schein? I did that before the postseason. They were my picks to go to the Super Bowl. How can I turn around and not take them right here? I have my playoff bracket that I filled out before the postseason is perfect, except for a little 13-second window that messed it up between KC and Buffalo. I still had the 49ers beating the Rams in this conference championship game in LA. I do think that the way the 49ers are built, that, you know, they have stars, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, right? But they're not driven through like an alpha star, like a DeAndre Hopkins or a Mike Evans that you can just put Jalen Ramsey on and shut down. Ramsey can't really run around. He's not going to run around with Deebo Samuel when they're using Deebo out of the backfield, lining him up all over the place. If he lines up on George Kittle, he's basically going to be getting run blocked half the time. So I think it's a really difficult spot for the Rams. They aren't able to slow down that 49ers rushing attack. Jimmy G, for as much crap as the guy gets, has been pretty clutch in some pretty big spots. He's been on this moment before. I wish it was somebody other than my guy Matthew Stafford, because he's 2 games away from the Hall of Fame, 2 wins away from the Hall of Fame. But I got to ride with my Niners here. I will take the 49ers to win and cover.
I love the fact that your preseason pick is still alive. I had Rams-Bills preseason. Listen, Bills, I'm still not over the fact they're not playing. Rams are going to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to take them to win. I'm going to take them to cover. So this will be our disagreement, Will Brinson. So this is kind of huge in terms of our records and our standings. And I'm going to go 27-20. I'm going to take LA to win and cover. Look, I agree with everything you said. We said it earlier in the show. Star power in terms of San Francisco with Nick Bosa and George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Ayuk. I think Mitchell is a big-time talent. Love the coaching. It is certainly in Sean McVay's head, but I love McVay. I think he's a gem. I love Stafford. You're not being subject to hyperbole. We've talked about this. Matthew Stafford is 2 wins away from cementing his place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's had a great career. I think it's a big game for Cooper Kupp, big game for Odell Beckham Jr. Kupp has run it over against these 49ers. It's gigantic image-wise for the Rams in LA. 27-20. Rams win. Rams cover.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.